edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. And today, once again, we have the Michael and Barnes show.
It's crazy.
Renee from the couch. It's Thursday. How you guys doing?
Renee, how you doing? Good?
Good. Yeah, but I feel like, this show always kind of, gives you some energy, kind of wakes you up. Who needs a coffee? You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly.
But yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff, to talk about, of course, and definitely some basketball topics, Michael, that I know you're always interested in.
Got to keep it alive when I'm here.
Of course. And you know what?
I even looked for NHL news, and it was like top 5 defenders left in the free agency. I was like,
Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch. Definitely.
I got the golf in there.
You did, with the Tour Championship starting today. So we definitely want to talk about that. But we know you love your basketball. So why don't we haven't said this in a while. Let's go to the world of the National Basketball Association.
The Bulls LeBron James at the buzzer. He banks in the three, and the Lakers win the game.
Kobe. It was actually yesterday was 8/24.
Wow.
Kobe Day.
Yeah, and what was his birthday? Was like a couple days
before that. Yeah.
A
lot of Kobe.
Obviously, always tough, thinking about that. So just some NBA topics to cover here. I know we haven't really went in depth with it in a while. The first one, big bombshell coming out yesterday and then confirmed today. Number 2 overall pick, Chet Holmgren, of the Oklahoma City Thunder, is going to miss the whole season with a Liz Frank
Did you
injury.
see it?
I didn't see the play. No.
It was so fragile.
What was the play?
LeBron driving in
Seattle. It was okay. I know LeBron was doing
the
that.
Seattle run. It was nothing. It was just, dude, he drove, stepped on his foot like a routine type of, like if you're backpedaling and he's like backpedaling and LeBron just steps on his foot and
LeBron stepped on his
foot and you just see him limping and it's like, dude, you haven't even played any games and everyone's like, oh, it's okay, long term. It's like, that's not the point. Like 25 years ago, you didn't see rookies getting injured preseason or get big injuries earlier in their career like these AAU babies are.
But what do you think it is? Because we've seen the foot injuries, Liz Frank. Like, what is it? Just because the guys there's more force, people are stronger, and that's causing more injuries? I mean, what is it?
I don't know. I think it's just you're playing in AAU a lot of basketball games, and it's just the same amount of wear and tear, but like before you get to the league almost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, because the wood, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if you're young or old. If you're gonna run on wood for 20 years, let's say, because you're 20 when you get into the league on average, let's say.
Yeah.
What do you expect your joints to be like?
Right.
And if you're playing an AAU was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you'd play 3 to 5 games a day. So that's 15 games in a weekend, then come home, practice every day, do it all again. And then it's your regular season in high school.
Right.
It's like you never get to rest. You never get to just, kind of be a kid. And there is a beauty in just training too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fundamentals and just working, I have in my head every time I think about it is Dirk and his trainer, because they used to always do these weird moves and stuff, but just like weird, just one-on-one practicing, mastering all your skills so that when you do play, you're not, you're ready to go. You get in shape. You know how they have the preseason,
right?
So you could get, stay in somewhat shape. There's no way you're going to stay in basketball shape if you don't play basketball.
Right.
But That's okay. That's what preseason's for, as long as you don't come in like a Deion Waiters back in the Miami days. Like,
Did you take some gummies?
oh, dude, he was high as a kite in Miami, dude. Remember, he couldn't like stop smoking down there.
Yeah, no, right. And then he freak out on a plane.
Yeah,
or something?
yeah. It's so
Oh
funny.
man. So you think though it's all about just the amount of basketball they're playing? It's not more about like the guys being bigger, faster, stronger, causing these type of injuries at the end of the day.
No, they were so athletic. I just think I'm looking back at stuff at games and stuff of old players, dude, and it's still at like I'd say from the 70s on, it's athletic, and this just a notch below, and then 80s, 90s, same shit,
Right.
Like it's just like they don't rest as much early on. You're not going to see, and it sucks because you're not seeing guys play 81 games, in a season anymore. Everybody's resting.
Right. And then they're injured on top of it. So there's really just, and there's too many games where it's halftime.
Yeah.
70-40.
Oh, I know. And that's the other thing. It's like, I don't know. There's just, the league has gone to it's a players league, but whatever. That's my take on Chet.
And speaking of it, going to a players league, is the pendulum though swinging back in the direction of the owners after this Brooklyn Nets news?
I know, good segue.
KD and Kyrie staying. I mean, what are your thoughts there?
Totally, dude. Yeah, I mean, don't you think so? It's like, shut up. And of course, I just saw this online before we started the show. Kevin Durant wants Carmelo Anthony on the Brooklyn Nets. It's like, I hope Melo, for Melo's sake, doesn't join that circus.
Yeah.
And goes to Denver or the Knicks. I would sign him on a vet minimum.
I feel like the Knicks, honestly.
It'd be sick. But I just do Denver. I watched him on Denver. He was dope his first 7 years, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was 7 years. Yeah.
In Denver, never missed the playoffs from his rookie year. Got bounced by the champs in the Western Conference Finals, Lakers. So I feel like he was always just right there, but it was a tough West at that time when he was playing. And I think Denver with Melo and Jamal Murray, people forget Murray's coming back. You know who looks like trash, dude? Who's just like absolute garbage. And I've always thought he was garbage, especially when they started comparing him to Blake. Aaron Gordon.
Yeah. He never has turned into the guy that everyone thought he would be, honestly.
He's so funny in those Seattle games. He's like, everybody's doing some crazy shit, from Isaiah Thomas to Chet even having a couple of nice highlights before, in the pre-dunks or whatever, at least. But they start playing and Aaron Gordon gets the ball and he turns it over immediately. And I'm like,
what is he doing?
What are you doing out here?
And then taking some stupid 3-pointers.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny because I said this.
Anthony's at rugby. Mary, how are you?
How are you? I know she's ready to talk some Mets, but she's got to wait a little bit. But yeah, I mean, and just in terms of the Nets, like I said this originally and people laughed at me, never winning a title. And you think you're going to win it now after all that's going on? And how do they coexist when Durant literally said
I don't want to
he doesn't want to be here.
He doesn't want
Nash to be there and he doesn't want the GM to be there. So how are they going to sing Kumbaya?
It's so awkward.
But I mean, how do you think that's going to work?
I just don't think it is.
Do you think that they're going to have like a terrible year?
Unless they're like, they pitched something happened where they were like, this is the only way to change the course of your careers. The outlook. Am I right? Like stay and win.
Yeah. But
it's not going to happen.
But good for Joe's side though, even though it's not going to happen. It's like I said this so long ago. It's like owners should have just done this originally because it's like if you tell the guy, no, we're not trading you, they're not going to retire. They're not going to give up $100 million. So I don't know why they're so nervous to like stick out their chest.
I know.
I've said that for a long time.
It's crazy. I think, and now it's like, all right, so what are you going to do though? If you don't, that's the thing. If I was an owner or whatever, GM or president, I'd just say, what are you going to do?
Right.
You signed a contract.
Exactly.
If I really wanted to, I could trade you to the worst team in the league.
And there was a lot of talk, and I think it was Yeah, I think it was on the morning show on the Fan. They were saying that they guarantee the next CBA that Adam Silver is going to put stuff in it so that players can't do this type of stuff where they sign extensions and they
Good.
don't want to honor their contracts.
Yeah, good. There should be a thing like, oh, you don't want to honor it, then you're not getting any of your money if you don't play or something crazy like that.
And just in terms of, you talked about how you don't like how the players have had so much power and just kind of, and I've spoken about it, where the direction that the league's going. I mean, how hopeful are you that this is going to be a really good up and coming NBA season? And not just from, how well the Knicks do if they get Mitchell, but just from afar. I mean, broadly speaking, do you feel like they're going to rebound? Because last year, I don't really feel like was a great year.
Yeah, me too. But I think this year is going to be a bounce back. I think certain players have things to prove this season, like especially like, for example, your Lakers. LeBron is there's a lot of people murmuring about him and the Lakers and all that stuff. So I'm sure he's going to come out. And just all the other guys, Dame, Kawhi, Paul, John Wall with them too. Is we forget about that. I'm excited. I like the beginning of the season. First third of the season. It's competitive. People want to get off to a good start. They do.
Yeah.
And then it coasts for a little bit, and then it picks up at the end. So I'm excited for the beginning of the season. I'm excited to see year 2 players. I'm excited to see RJ in year 4.
Speaking of, now they're saying he's on the table. It's out there though. I mean, it obviously has to annoy you.
Yeah, I won't be a player. I mean, I won't be a Knicks fan.
But it just seems like, I mean, especially, you want to get everything taken care of before training camp. I mean, you think that if this deal is going to happen, it's going to happen pretty soon. Unless they're going to wait till the trade deadline. I mean, no,
it's either now or trade deadline.
And I guess there's some rumors that the Cavs are trying to get into the mix here. Obviously, they have a lot of younger players. So that would be interesting as well.
For Donovan?
Yeah. Yep.
Take him, please. I just, for once, I just want them to just chill.
But if you're not giving up any of your favorites, then you're okay with it, though?
Of course.
Because, I mean, a star is needed, though.
Of course. But what if RJ is the star in year 4?
Yeah.
Go look at the numbers. People disrespect him. I if you go to my Twitter, people at Main Magic Mike, my gamer tag from Xbox, since 2002, when it was released, by the way, Barnes. Is that not impressive? You could see on Xbox the amount of years you have your gamer tag next to your name, and mine is since 2002. You guys do the math.
That's a long run.
That's 20 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. I'm excited for the NBA season, Barnes.
So yeah, I mean, I hope it, there's some good stuff. Cause like I said, I just, there's been some negativity the last couple of years, and it will be nice to see it, just more competitive and just so much less drama. That's what I'm hoping for. But and you were mentioning the Lakers. This trade, I guess, is official now. THT and Stanley Johnson going to the Jazz in exchange for Patrick Beverly, who's always been a big rival of Russell Westbrook. But they're saying, and the only reason I would like this deal is they're saying by getting him, which I don't understand, he's not a starter anyway, that Westbrook they're going to try to trade for Miles Turner, and then that the Pacers would buy him out. And I don't really understand that either. Why would the Pacers want that? I don't. I guess that they're starting. They want to.
Well, they've been trying to trade Miles Turner for 2 seasons.
So they're going to trade him for a guy that they're going to buy out. I just don't understand why they would want to do that. I mean, it would be great for the Lakers, obviously. So I mean, I would love to see that, but it's just this whole Westbrook situation is just is crazy, and I just don't see what the exact plan is. And I almost question, do they know what the plan is?
Yeah. I mean, who, the Pacers?
The Lakers.
I think they do.
So what is it if you had to just give me something?
I saw someone tweet, an NBA player. Who was it? Oh, Rick Fox.
Yep.
Something about Turner. It's the same thing with you guys, though, for the past season. It's like if you guys did this last season, it's Turner. It's the dude from Sacramento.
Buddy Hield?
And it's someone else I forgot that they're looking to bring in.
I mean, I think they need shooting. So even though Turner's great, and I know he could
He's
shoot
a-
the three,
yeah.
but Hield, I think, would actually do really well because
They both would do.
LeBron would just set him up in the corner. Yeah.
Dude, I could see Turner as like a pow
Yeah.
type of role for LeBron to Kobe,
But
worse.
I really don't know what this season's going to look like for them. I think, there's a lot of uncertainty. But before we know it, it will be basketball season, and I'm sure, we'll have a lot to chat about. And obviously, if this Mitchell deal ever gets done or any other, surprising moves happen, we'll definitely keep you guys posted. And before we get to baseball, I just wanted to also update Tour Championship is underway. Leaders, though, with this staggered start, haven't teed off. So really not too much to discuss. Guys have played a couple holes so far, only 29 golfers in this field. So nothing really to discuss just of yet. But if there is an update before we go off the air, we'll give you one. But for right now, obviously, Scheffler starts with that 10 under par. So we will see what happens. The Tour Championship from East Lake.
We got a couple
Atlanta,
comments
Georgia.
before we go on to the next topic. Barnes sound clip. That's what prefer,
of course.
And then Larry James, crazy. Imagine Chet against real centers. Chet is barbecue chicken. I totally agree. I saw a funny video of like some stupid it was like a fake Joker, but it was the Joker getting tossed basically through the streets, and it was Chet Holmgren when he tries to when Joel Embiid posts him up. Basically, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
You sneaky.
But the thing is, I mean, why is it like that though? I feel like all these centers are kind of the same. Like there's not too many, like beefy centers. Why is Chet not bulked up already?
I mean, because he's young and he's young, but I don't know. I guess it's all about shooting the three, mobility. Nowadays in the NBA, being able to guard the pick and roll as a big, so that's got to be part of it. But Shaq and certain players, certain bigs throughout the NBA's rich history have changed that. So I'm sure Joel Embiid's the closest thing in my book, then Jokic a hard second. But Joel is more ferocious and like
Ferocious.
He's just, I don't know, a little bit different.
Yeah. And his situation is interesting too. I mean, I know Harden's coming back. I mean, he looked really bad down the stretch last year. And it seems like he's almost wanted to go to Miami. Like it's like, I wonder how that whole situation is going to end up playing out with the Sixers.
With him?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if he can win a championship with them.
Embiid is 7'1", 270. Jokic is 7'1", 250. Bam, 6'10", 240. Giannis, 6'10", 250. Most big men are extremely strong, 100. Yeah, no, I mean, it's tough, though, and I've heard Shaq compare Giannis to himself, but I'd even say Shaq was even beefier. He was, especially even in Orlando when he was cut, he was bigger,
he was
dude.
insane. Yeah.
Like he's the most dominant player ever. Do you know? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like physically, like if he actually got it together here back then, they would have won 10 in a row, dude.
But you're saying when he was in Orlando?
In LA.
Oh, just because like they were squabbling.
If Penny never got hurt, he would have never went to LA. So who even knows?
Right.
But
right.
I don't know if Penny was like a Kobe or Jordan mentally. So Shaq would have still tapered off, I guess. But maybe he needed someone like Penny, and he would have been just loving to be in the gym with him in the summer instead of, being forced to. He seemed like a dude who, if you told him something, he wouldn't do it. But if you didn't, he would do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. And it's crazy. And then he still had the career that he did, which is just pretty remarkable.
I know.
Kind of slacking.
I know.
And
That's what I'm saying.
Putting in the bare minimum. Zion is also strong and built like a bull, 6'7", 260, but Zion can't get on the court. That's the problem.
I know. We need to see
Is this the year that we get a full year out of Zion?
I mean, I think so.
I hope so.
He looks good in the offseason. He's been quiet. You've just seen pictures surface of him, but he looks thin.
Are you disappointed that he's not on the Knicks roster right now?
I think things are going on that are waiting to be handled, and I think the ultimate plan is a RJ Zion team up in the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see that. But I think probably gonna have to wait a little bit. Obviously, coming off that extension too, so
Yeah,
I
you
would
could trade
imagine.
for him though.
But I think you have to wait till February. 'Cause of
Oh
the
yeah,
extension,
of course, yeah.
But
No,
I don't think it'll be unless
it'll be next
literally,
year, probably.
yeah, unless it goes away.
Yeah,
Unless the whole
exactly.
season for them goes quick.
Like whoa, fire, jump out the plane.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think that's what's going to happen with the Mets the rest of the season. And speaking of that, it's time, Michael.
Yes,
the world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. The back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray. There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Cy Young, Nada, where did that land? Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right. And actually, I wanted to start off. I wanted to clarify something. I was actually texting two of our, biggest fans here on the Sports Port. My sister Jennifer and Chokri, of course, about how he's gotten into the Yankees this year, and I forgot to give my sister credit because she is the one who actually explained to him how baseball worked. He didn't have an understanding of it before. And she, back in the day, used to be one of the assistant coaches, keeping the book, all that in my little league days. So definitely credit for her, of course, for really getting him into it. And I guess, she started it. I finished it.
Exactly.
So now he's full-fledged. He's Yankee blood, and there's just nothing better. I mean, you absolutely can't beat it. So always appreciate them tuning in. They said they really enjoyed yesterday's show, the back and forth with our fellow Met listeners.
Yeah, it was intense. Yeah.
Mary, a lot of good, positive conversation. And that's what it's all about. And it's just nice this season. Of course, it's been a while since both the Yankees and the Mets have been the center of the baseball universe. You absolutely love to see it. Yesterday, of course, both teams off, but are starting a 4-game series tonight. And of course, I'm always anxious to talk about the Yankees. In tonight's matchup.
Dude, I was gonna say, I did my, as Craig O would say, due diligence.
Yep.
And I saw that the Mets are now only a game and a half up with a 14-2 stomping the Braves had last night.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it seems kind of scary if the Braves are putting up 14.
No, but the thing is, Michael, it seems too convenient for me to follow that narrative and attack the Mets. But I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. I don't understand, guys like Dave Rothenberg, like Boomer Esiason, the way they talk about the Mets, that the rest of this season is set in stone. The World Series is the only goal and everything's okay. And I don't understand the fact that you might be playing a wild card series and you have to win 2 out of 3. Otherwise the season's over. Like, why is that not being talked about? I don't know if the Braves are getting enough credit.
Yeah. And I guess we're going to see if the Braves are going to get enough credit if the Mets lose tonight and the Braves win.
Right.
And then if they're still like not talking about it, they're crazy.
No, and then imagine the world gets completely turned upside down. Jacob deGrom pitching tonight. What if he leaves the game with an injury? Mets lose to Colorado. Braves win. What's everybody going to be saying tomorrow? How do you think Dave spins it, honestly?
Dude, that would be one of the best shows to listen to.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. He's going to be he would be so depressed.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just funny how quick that narrative changed. And I think it's just because everyone looks at the win-loss record for them and just feels like it's solidified. But nothing is solidified, especially like I said, when you're playing a best-of-3 series in the first round. And before we actually get to the Yankees, I was reading on this the other day, and I'm not, I don't really listen to Michael K's show at all. I didn't realize that he's been off the entire summer.
No way.
I was just reading this today. He has literally not been on the show since June, but I guess that shows how big of fans we are of his show. But
since June,
yeah, isn't that insane? And he's saying, Howard Stern does it. The summer's rating books don't, matter. And then the Post had an article about after his contract expired, is this it? Does he not have the same juice for his radio show that he always has?
We've been saying that.
Yeah, but I mean, And I guess the show wasn't clear, like, to the listeners, explaining why he hasn't been there. They were trying to say it was some vacation, but obviously no one takes a 3-month vacation. So I just think that's crazy. I can't believe it. And it's like, I think it's a lot of window dressing. I think that the show is done. I think it's over, right? Like, it's just like, after getting beaten by Carton out of prison, you know what I mean? Straight out of prison, the guy doesn't even talk about sports half the time, and they are kicking your ass.
Mhm.
How do you recover from that? You
And
know?
on top of that, like, Dave's probably, I want to see those numbers in the morning. I'm
Yeah.
sure. And they have to have like geeky math guys that know numbers and are like, well, if we calculate this and times this by that, I'm sure their numbers would beat anybody's numbers if
Yeah.
they had that slot.
Yeah.
We always
yeah.
talk about it, if they had that prime time slot.
But doesn't he not want it though? Didn't you
Who?
say that, Dave? Like,
I don't know. I think he
Okay.
would gladly take it.
just because, like, for the spotlight.
Oh
like,
my
because
god!
everybody
He'd
obviously
be like,
wants
I'm a
trash time.
starter.
So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I don't think there's a future there. And I just never listened to it because I'm either gonna listen to the fan with Carton and Roberts, and sometimes Carton gets a little too much for me, but Mad Dog Unleashed, nothing better than that. So I always enjoy listening to Chris chalk it up and attack. I see some videos, I haven't watched it on TV, but I just love him going after Stephen A on First Take too. It's just so funny. Dog's face, like when they're having arguments, like he just like doesn't care, doesn't want to hear it. No, Stephen A's an idiot. And I just love it.
I didn't know he was on there.
Yeah,
sometimes.
once
That's
a week.
awesome.
No, I don't think you were here when we were talking about this. So randomly on the show, I forgot what the number was, but he literally told his whole listening audience how much they pay him per episode. And I was like, you can't do that. Like, ESPN is definitely pissed that he did that. You know?
Wow.
But it's like typical him though, you know?
Yep, yep.
So I just thought that was really funny. Absolutely. But back to the diamond here. So Yankees, start this 4-game set in Oakland against the A's, 9:40 tonight. First pitch, Jameson Taillon versus former Yankee pitching prospect James Caprillion, who has pitched a little better of recent. Numbers still don't look that great, but 3-7, 4.29. Taillon 11-4, 4.00. And of course, the Yankees would send down Florial, activating Giancarlo Stanton tonight. So we know he'll be jacked up, and just the presence that he brings to this lineup, is tremendous. And I said this on yesterday's show. Right now for the Yankees, I mean, it was tough. The Rays won yesterday. I think it was their 5th straight win. So the lead is actually down to 7.5. It's all about just win, win, win. That's all you got to be worried about. Don't worry about what the other teams are doing. And I think you just want to make a statement tonight. And this is really a game where I just feel like, the A's bullpen's not that great as well. Where there's no excuse. I mean, this should be a snoozer. This should be a laugher. This should be like a 10-2 victory. And I just hope that we see offense early. And in Taillon, this is a matchup where, he's succeeded, against these weak hitting teams. No reason why he can't give him 6 innings, 2 earned, 8 strikeouts. And, I really hope we see that. Zach Britton, the former All-Star closer, rehabbing in Single-A Tampa. Actually, my friend Corey, who, works for the team, was watching him yesterday. He said he looks pretty good. He had a scoreless inning. So, he'll be back sooner rather than later. So it's nice to add another piece to the bullpen. I know there's been talk about bringing up possibly their closer in AAA, who's had a good year. I think he's 28 years old. So, there really might be some reinforcements here on the way. With him, Severino still got a few weeks till he comes back. That's going to be a welcomed addition. And then Matt Carpenter, I think that is going to be so big. And I guess there's still some uncertainty about how that foot's healing. And I think we should know sooner rather than later. But I just feel like he's like an X factor. And I know it. The veteran.
Yeah, he's got that swag.
Yeah.
That presence, that calming presence. Like everything's all right.
Yeah.
We're the best team.
And I just think even if like he doesn't, he's at the end of his career, I think he's 36 years old. I just think even if his foot doesn't feel good.
He said he's coming back next year, though.
Oh, yeah. No, but I'm saying for this year, I think even if it's not 100%, he's like, I got to be back for the boys. I got to be back for the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're finishing this deal. And the thing is, it's like, his numbers were historically good. So I just really can't wait to get him back as well. But I think right now, I mean, with Stanton in this lineup, obviously the pieces are there. And like I said, let's win, win, win. That's all it's about, weak team like the A's. So I want to say we're going to have, Judge is homered in Oakland before, obviously the California native. So I think he's going to hit his 49th, as he creeps closer to 50 home runs for the second time in his career. I think Stanton wants to be back. Maybe first pitch for Stanton, honestly. He's just jacked up. Maybe Caprillion tries to sneak one over for a strike, first pitch, gone. I could see them going back to back, maybe even in the first inning. So I'm going to say 10-3. It just sounds right. Like I said, the 2 earned for Tyone, and just hits up and down the lineup. Benintendi's been red hot late, and I really expect that stretch to continue. And it really would just be so big. I mean, this is the time, especially with, Tampa Bay hosting the Angels. Their game is actually starting at 1:10, so that'll be underway soon. And then Boston and Toronto. So, another easy matchup for them. You got to just win. You got to just win. Let the rest figure themselves out. And I think, Tampa could potentially be due for a chunker here, against the Angels, just because, they've won 5 in a row. You can't win every game. And Patrick Sandoval actually has been pretty good for the Angels, who, always struggle with their pitching. Drew Rasmussen on the hill for the Angels. So that would be big if we could get a Tampa loss, but control what you can control. And I'm just expecting a really good effort out of the Yankees tonight. I think there's just so much more excitement and good feeling on this team after sweeping the New York Mets. I really think that's going to go a long way to having a really good end to this season. But we'll see tonight, 9:40 on Yes. So definitely looking forward to watching that one. I did mention the Mets. They do have 4 games set against Colorado. I mentioned DeGrom on the hill, with that extra day of rest. Had a little bit of a struggle last time out against the Braves. He was talking about how he didn't feel like he had his best off-speed stuff, which I really think, could be problematic here, against the Rockies, because it's just, like I said, I know their record's bad and no one's really, expecting much out of them, but that doesn't mean that you could take them lightly. And I could see, them trying to just be aggressive against DeGrom, which is something that you don't really see too often, with a pitcher of his caliber. Usually teams are very kind of hesitant and just, don't have like the best game plan in terms of how to attack him. So that's what I kind of look for early. As far as the Mets are concerned, 4 runs in 2 games. That's a lack of offense. And before I kind of get into, a more detailed prediction here, I'm just curious, Michael, you saw from these 2 games, them struggling to score, weak opponent back in their home park. Going against Feltner, I think his ERA is over 5 or even 6. Are you expecting a rebound offensively from the New York Mets tonight?
Call it a curse, call it a jinx, call it what you may, Barnes. But I don't know. I just think ever since DeGrom has been a Met, he's pitching tonight. Due diligence. Ever since he's pitched for them, do they not score runs, or is it just me? Is it they're just every time, dude?
How about
and
this?
It's the game before and the game after, there's 8 runs. For crazy numbers. What's going on?
So he started 4 games this year. They have scored 2 runs or less in 3 of them, including 2 last time, 1 the game before, and then they did have a 5 spot, but then 1 in his first start against Washington.
Yeah, you could chalk it up.
So yeah,
2 or less. I'm going 1 run, bro.
Is that enough?
No.
So they lose tonight.
He's gonna go 7 innings like he does. You know what I mean? Lights out. Diaz comes in, grand slam
off of Diaz, and then that throws his whole mental psyche off.
And now he's Chapman again.
Yeah. Oh my God. Listen, like I said, it really, really might be right in front of the Mets here. This really could be a collapse.
I would lose it.
It was just
I can see Tony's face right now, just shocked.
Right. And the thing is, people like Tony, all they say is, we'll be fine. but there's no basis. That's the thing. There is absolutely no basis. And then, like I said, who's to say after this game, DeGrom complains of a sore shoulder? We'll have MRI tomorrow, precautionary. Tell me there's not a good probability of something like that happening.
I know.
You know,
and it could be just him being like, I'm done. Like, you guys never score for me. I'm just going to the Yankees next season.
Yeah.
I'm going to save my pitches.
And then watch, he's never hurt with us.
Ever.
Wins 4 World Series. Hey, man. At the end of the day, I mean, I know, of course, there's influence from the family. Everybody knows it. Renee knows it.
Yes.
With the Steelers, of course. But the thing is that, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you still kind of make a decision here. And it was funny, actually. I know you would absolutely, I can't believe I forgot to tell you this. So when we were coming back from the game, there was this kid. I mean, he must have been 12 years old. He's sitting there with his dad, the fall is sleeping, of course, long day. And he's just talking. And he's got his Mets jersey on. And he just keeps like being kind of like me with the Yankees. Like when the Mets aren't doing good, like doing like that optimistic, you know, they'll be fine. And I just literally kept trying to tell him, listen, man, you're young. It's not too late. I would go over to the other side. I don't think you understand the misery that you're about to endure. But, you know, props to him. You know, he stayed strong and said, no, he's supporting the Mets and everything. I tried, though, Michael. I tried to point him in the right direction.
Endure, prefer. This show is this Yankee circle jerk.
The bitterness of the Met fan. It really is something.
You know, I feel like this show does a great job of like tuning to both sides of the fence.
Absolutely.
You know, when the Mets are hot, the Yankees get it. And when the Yankees are hot, the Mets get it.
And I think the thing that Buffer just needs to realize, first of all, when the Yankees hit this stretch where they were struggling, I was the first person to say they were playing like trash. I mean, I wasn't hiding from it before. And I've said the Mets have had a great year, but there are questions, and we can't act like those questions aren't there. And the fact that you guys, the guys that you're relying on the most are a 38-year-old Max Scherzer and a 34-year-old Jacob deGrom, who hasn't pitched 100 innings the last 2+ years combined. You know what I mean? Like, he's not out on the mound. So your lead shrinking. The Braves are hot. I mean, these are all real points. And I just feel like just because, and I get it, because I think the Met fan, you know, has the mentality of, oh my God, we've got screwed over so many times. This finally has to be our year. Uncle Stevie opening his wallet, all that stuff. But here we are, and it just seems very similar. And I know Buffer knows deep down, he might not want to admit it, but I think he knows there's concern about DeGrom, and there's a chance for a clunker tonight. The Mets, they could say whatever they want, did not look good offensively against the Yankees in the Subway Series. It's that simple.
No.
So I think tonight, I want to say Colorado 5, Mets 2. DeGrom gives up 1. Diaz the grand slam.
You like that, don't you? You like that grand slam.
Top of the 9th tie game. Diaz grand slam. He's going to give it up to Charlie Blackmon, the bearded one.
Just because I am fair, Buffer, I will put your prediction up as well.
Yeah, so I'm very curious to see. I'm going to say Buffer is going to be like, 5-0.
Do you know what?
He's
Athletics will sweep the Yanks.
Oh my God, that is weak, Buffer. That is so weak. But the thing is, like I said, Buffer knows deep down there's a 0% chance of that happening. And, you know, listen, I mean, it's Met bitterness. We know it. And you know what? I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, that's just how it is, you know?
100%.
So, you know, I do think, though, for both teams, I mean, you got 4 game sets. You want to start out on the right foot, and it's just the difference. It doesn't seem like much because it's only 1 game difference, but the difference of, you know, splitting a 4 game set versus taking a 3 out of 4 is just tremendous. And, you know, the Yankees and the Mets have teams that are behind them that are playing well, and you just have to take advantage of the opportunity in front of them. And as far as, you know, the Mets are concerned, the Braves are actually off today. So they get a break there. They could pick up the proverbial half game if they're able to come away with a victory. But we'll see what happens. But I'm just excited to watch the game. The only thing, the 9:40 start, it's tough. It's tough because you think about 9:40. if it's a 3-hour game, which is even a little light at times, we're talking 12:40, Michael. So, like, what do you do in the Knicks or West Coast? Are you able to get through it?
No.
You go like a quarter?
Yeah, quarter or a half.
Yeah.
Depending on, all right, let's say they're top 3 seed, right? Let's just put it that way. Like they're doing well, like the Yankees type stuff, and they're playing a good team. I'll probably do the half.
Yeah. And it's just like, especially the hour that you basically wouldn't go to sleep if you're watching the whole game.
I know. I might as well. It's just too much.
Is there an answer to the West Coast time difference? And, are we just, is it ridiculous to ask them to start their games at 4:00 just so we can watch them?
I know. Is it us being selfish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's more people on the East Coast. I mean, that's what it is.
I know. It's tough, dude. It really is.
But yeah, I mean, and it doesn't happen much. And it's funny because it'll be different because I guess this weekend, but I don't mind the West Coast trip when it's the weekend. It's just during the week. You have to get up early. It definitely just makes things difficult. I mean,
100%.
There's just no 2 ways about it. So we will see what happens, but definitely excited, after, a day off, a great momentum swinger in terms of that series against the Mets. I'm really looking forward to watching them today. And I can't wait to see Stanton back because Stanton,
All-Star MVP.
Yeah, All-Star Game MVP. And I just think he catches slack. And I understand, he's missed times with injuries and whatnot.
He's been a professional.
He's handled it well, handled it a lot better than, the Mets at times and, other.
And so many players.
Yeah.
There's so mmany players that Stan got booed so much and so much ridicule. They would not have bounced back, bro.
Right. And you know what it is too? Because I think he has an appreciation because he was in Miami for all of his career before he went to the Yankees. And he's like, there's no atmosphere here. There's no juice. There's no buzz. I want to be in a place
that
where
cares.
I have a chance to win and that they care. Exactly. And it's like you have no shot at that in Miami. The interest just isn't there. And one thing, I don't know if I'm guessing you might have heard about this, but have you seen the tear that Albert Pujols has been on?
Yeah, what's going on with that? Talk to me.
I gotta pull up these.
What's going on with that team? Are they playoff bound?
Oh yeah, they're because the Brewers are fading.
Let's
Brewers
go.
Traded Hader at the deadline. Since then, they've kind of collapsed.
I want them to make one more run.
So I mean, Arenado's having a great year. Goldschmidt might win the MVP, and then Albert Pujols. I mean, it's unbelievable. So he's played 75 games this year. 14 home runs, hitting 276, slugging 529. And if we look at our I'm going to pull up the splits for pre and post All-Star break.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And it's like he's closing in on 700 home runs. He has 7 to go. So we've got the rest of this month, 2 series in October, obviously next month. So I think he's going to get that opportunity. I really do.
Yeah.
So just to kind of give you a sense here. So let's see. Yeah, first and second half. So first half, he really struggled. 215 average, 6 homers, 20 RBIs. Everyone laughed at him for being in the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby. But in 22 games, Michael, only 67 plate appearances, 8 home runs, 18 RBIs, slugging 902 with a 426 batting average.
Wow.
And it's like over that amount of games, it's actually, believe it or not, the best stretch of his career. How unbelievable is that?
That's insane.
Yeah. So you love to see it, and I think everybody's really rooting for him. And I think he'll just get it. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended exactly on 700.
It could only be in the regular season, right?
Yeah. Postseason doesn't count. And you know what's funny? He's got 693 now. A-Rod's 696. So it's like basically a lock at this point, unless he gets hurt or just all of a sudden can't hit. He's going to pass A-Rod on that list. And those were 2 guys that everyone thought at one time were the proverbial locks to be the all-time home run leader. So I just find that, very, very intriguing.
I'm glad that Pujols is passing him. A-Rod, man, that K-Rod with Jeter was. Did you see that?
Wait. Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, but it's Michael K. It's A-Rod. I mean, that's 2 strikes against you right there. So A-Rod, he just cares too much about what people think of him.
Do you ever like? I know you could tell it's so crazy.
Wait, are you kidding?
Do you ever like him?
Who, A-Rod?
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
because he always would look at the bat and strike out in the playoffs when we needed them. I don't know if you remember that back in the day.
Oh,
All of our seasons would end A-Rod at the plate, striking out, holding the bat,
yeah.
and then looking down and looking up at the ump.
Yeah.
It's like, swing the bat, bro.
I know. Before my quantum computer ran a simulation on the Yankees versus Athletics game tonight. Yankees will give up 10 runs in the first inning. The hole was dug so deep, Yanks get blown out tonight.
I mean, Michael, anything you have to say on
He
that?
said he ran the simulation over 1 million times, same result. There's no way, because if you would have to have different outcomes. I don't believe you.
Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of nonsense.
That just sounds like a Met being a Met.
It's funny though, Before really is the typical Met fan, and you could just tell too by some of his comments. His whole goal is just always to get me going, and he's always talking about the Barnes sound clips. I've never seen someone get so riled for those.
They are good.
What would you say?
It was just crazy.
What would you say your favorite one of all time is? I had a little bit of a panic attack.
No, not that one.
No.
No, it's all right.
It was just crazy.
I really like that one when it came out. Shekels is great.
Throw a couple shekels up there. Could be a nice payday.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Complete in confidence.
That's great. I don't know if I heard that one.
No.
Well, let's see what
Regarding the Yankees. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That's the pinnacle.
this is.
I said word. Ain't never told no lie.
That's
That's probably number one.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I can't believe
The icing
Tony
on the
tried to.
case.
He did try to say he'd never heard of that song.
The legend.
Tony doesn't
It
know.
is
He only
even
knows
good.
like old school
Don't
rock and
trust
roll. Rapping Barnes before says, yeah. You don't even know, dude.
Yeah. I mean, before you could have heard the tracks back
It's
in
a
the
good
day.
one.
Oh, Mr. Poo-Poo.
Yep. About the Mets.
It's dope when we have our own
Ferocious.
NCAA March Madness thing with these.
Oh yeah.
The legend.
Yeah, we'll have to do a bracket for sure.
Tony.
Wow, I didn't really know we had still some of these, honestly.
But, come on.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Can't get it in.
That's a good one.
I don't like any comedian.
Yeah. No, that might be my favorite.
Yeah,
Honestly.
that is like, you want to know Barnes?
I don't like any comedian.
There you go.
No blood, no foul there. Here we go again with the food.
These are
Laying
great.
The proverbial egg. That's too high. Yeah, that was going. So that kind of annoys me. The sky is falling, Tony.
I love it. These are great. Those are great.
Yeah, no, but Tony doesn't pull all these out. He's always going, gentleman Jack.
Oh,
That's
you got to start. If I were Tony, I'd start here now because you don't get to play these as much.
yeah, no
Yeah.
blood, no foul there. So yeah, that's just good stuff. And before I was just gonna say, I had a couple singles I put out back in the day. Unfortunately, archives no longer available, but you would have been rolling if you're able to hear them.
Oh,
Little Black and Yellow remix. And I'm actually forgetting the rest of them, but there were some tracks, the old garage band days, college, good time. But yeah, I mean, other than that, Michael, anything else you wanted to add here?
Anything else? I'm trying to think. I don't know. If Andrew Tate's watching this, I guess I would love to have you talk on Downtime about what's going on with you. So if this ever gets to him, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
Prefer go clip this up and post it everywhere on TikTok. That's what he did, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, anybody out there that wants to join the conversation, we welcome it.
Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for tonight's games.
Yeah, exactly.
Go Yankees.
Can't wait for tonight. Start these series out right. But once again, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe, as well as checking out those archives on the YouTube page, Tony in Costume, as well as the summer collection, downtimetv.com. Everybody, enjoy the day. Let's go Yankees, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You